I see it like the mafia, especially with this band. Once you're in and you're locked in, you can't really leave unless you quit.
But then you're sleeping with the fishes, isn't it?
Exactly.
I mean, you got your cement shoes on, the bottom of the Hudson River.
That's true.
We love doing it. There's no better feeling.
It's going to be great, isn't it?
I can't wait.
You can't wait.
Va 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 version.
Welcome to the inaugural Between the Takes podcast by Version Music TV. And we're here at the Oxford Market, Central London, who have kindly donated us the use of their space, which is beautiful. And we are very lucky to have the Fun Lovin Criminals talking with us about touring. We have got Fast, we have got Frank, and we have got Naeem. Are you ready, guys?
Ready as we'll ever be.
It's been a while, and I've been waiting for this. You've got an album dropping.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming.
How many years?
Well, I don't know, 10? We haven't done a full-length album in over 10 years,
Yeah,
so...
Well, we haven't done an original album for 15 years.
Yeah, true.
It's just a matter of time.
Just a matter of time before we bring one out, and now it's that time.
And that's what it's called, isn't it?
Matter of time.
Go figure. Meant to be.
We plan our shit, don't we? You know.
That's it.
And before that, you had a couple of EPs as well, little kind of teasers, weren't they?
We wanted to do that. The band went through some big changes about 4 years ago, and Frank and I knew it was very important to get some new music out to the peoples, because that's what they've been telling us they wanted for a long time. You know, you got the fans FLC that love the old stuff, the classics, as you will, but there's also a bunch of people that want to hear new music. I mean, you know, with any band, you want to hear new music. Maybe not when they play live, but that was something that was important. So yeah, those 2 EPs were good to get to the people as fast as possible.
Yeah, they were good starters. We had like an idea, a bit of a concept for one, more like our lounge, laid back, jazz infused vibe.
Yeah.
And then when we brought the second one out, we'd obviously got together with Naeem and got on the road, and we spent a lot of time in the US. And that, as you know, that kind of West Coast vibe, you get different vibes and flavors. And that's what was on the Capistrano. So it's a nice mix to go from that kind of what people love about our band, which is that laid back New York kind of, the Roosevelt. Then we started finding our feet a bit with Naeem. So then we stepped it up with a bit of funk and a bit of like classic criminal sound.
You know that though, because you played sax on one of the songs. This man right here is killer at the saxophone.
Interesting story about that. We were talking about that on the way down. I said, could you put a solo on this part of this song? And you sent me 18 different passes.
A whole album's worth of solos.
It's a great solo. That's what I was telling
solo.
Frank. It's just like perfectly played, so full of soul.
And it was.
And then I said to Frank, "That's such a good take." And he said, "I don't know to tell you the truth.
The first one.
It's the first and only one he heard, even though you'd sent like 18 takes.
I didn't listen to the 17. I just took the first one and sent it.
It got better incrementally, you know that.
No, it didn't.
Of course,
you thought about it too much.
You wait till you get to the 18th.
Wait till you get to the 18th one. No, they're in the bin. I just
the first take is always the best. You know, we had B.B. King play guitar on a song called Minibar Blues on our second album. And he went in the studio, we went with him, and he sent us like 7 different solos that he did. And it was definitely the first one, yeah. And every one of them was amazing, like you're playing. And there was bits and pieces in each one that was better than, you know, the previous tracking. And it's always the first one.
It's always the first one because you're not really thinking about it. Once you go to the second and the third, then you're thinking about it. Then the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, then you're overthinking about it. And then you start critiquing yourself. So by the end, you think you've done something perfect. It's probably lost its soul. That first one was the one, you know? It's normally the way.
So the 18th solo was...
That's in the bin, bro.
Like the 18th hole, isn't it?
Yeah.
How many holes on the golf course?
18.
But listen, you got a hole in one.
Why can't you be like that more often? See, he's coming out his shell finally. It took 4 years.
Because he's eating.
He's coming out. That's true. That's true. That's what the hummus will do to you.
Oh, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so new album, can't wait. The big year, 2025. We've got a single coming out. Well, we've got. I think we're going to release 3 singles off this album. And then the album drops on August the 29th.
Yes.
So, yeah, and then we start our tour a couple of days after. It's a big year.
Yeah, you got like UK, then you got Europe.
Yeah.
UK in September.
Yeah.
Europe, October.
Eastern
Yeah.
Europe, November. And
Ireland for some
Ireland.
reason. Eastern Europe and Ireland. So it's good to we get all over the place, you
It's
know.
mental, man. Every week, new dates popping into the diary.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, it's busy.
Places I haven't been before, you know.
Yeah.
So maybe a couple of places you've not been. You've been.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, the last 4 years has probably been the most productive years in Fun Lovin Criminals, in the aspect of we've gone and played places where me and Fast have never been to, and because we were kind of restricted back then, but now we're not so much. So we will, you know, our agent will send us. We're like, where is it? We don't even know. We have to go on the maps, don't we? Look where these places are.
I mean, it's easy. You know, it's easy to tour the UK when you all live in the UK. You know,
Yeah.
you're driving a few hours, and don't get us wrong, we love playing shows in the UK, but over the past 15, 20 years, we weren't getting out to Eastern Europe. We weren't getting back to Australia. We weren't even going back to America, where the band is, you know, got started. But
New Zealand.
we figured a way that we could tour easily without it, you know, costing an arm and a leg. Basically, just don't pay anybody, don't have a tour manager, and that's it. It's, you know, you get people that want to do it for the fun, and that's what
For the
we're doing.
loving.
They do get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they don't-
love in, and some of us are criminals. Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
And to see fans of the band that we haven't seen in 15, 20 years, and they come to our shows, they bring the kids with them. That's great. That's
Yeah,
a
new
good
generation,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, the kids stand at the back while the parents are up front.
give it some, innit?
Oh, they're embarrassed. The kids, they're all at the bar like, oh,
not ready yet.
my
That's
mom's
So true.
moshing
in
up
Europe,
front.
you get a lot of kids coming to the front, and they want to meet you after the show. It is nice. It's that, like I say, it feels like, especially the last 20 years, without a doubt, the last 4 years of the last 20 odd years has been the most productive. I mean, look, we've done 2 EPs, all originals. We're about to bring out another album. We haven't done that in the last God knows how long. So
Well, the band's never done that. We always put records. I mean, apart from the first 2, which came out within a couple years, it's always been
quite
5 years
Yeah.
between albums, and
Yeah.
you know, we're living life, we're doing other things. But now it's you know, as we're getting older and we're getting a different perspective on, you know, our lives and where we were and where we are now, it's inspiring. It's made us want to make more music, be creative, and tell more stories. So that's why we're here doing
Can't
it.
get away from it, really. It's kind of like the truth. If you step away from music, you can't step away from it too long, innit? Or
No.
some
Yeah,
aspect
like-
of music.
I see it like the mafia, especially with this band. Once you're in and you're locked in, you can't really leave unless you quit.
But then you're sleeping with the fishes, isn't it?
Exactly.
I mean, you got your cement shoes on, the bottom of the Hudson River.
That's true.
We love doing it. There's no better
gonna-
feeling.
It's going to be great, isn't it?
I can't wait.
You can't wait.
But you know, if you're a band, you're meant to make music, ain't you? That's literally your job, is to make and record. And
Well
play
said.
music.
Well
Yeah.
thought out there.
Unless you're the
That's very good.
Stone Roses, who just put 2 albums out and are just massive.
and then-
They're very lucky. Split up, argue with the record company, and then
Didn't they? Was they the ones that basically went? They got given £1 million advance and they just spent it all having a holiday. Was that them?
no, that was
No,
probably
Happy
that was
Mondays.
it. Happy
Oh,
Mondays,
okay.
yeah.
Mondays,
They went
yeah.
to Jamaica and Sean lost his head. But the
Well, the KLF got $1 million and just burn it, right? So there's all those stories. Whether
there's
any
a
of
lot
them are
of
true.
wackos in
Axl
music.
Rose got millions. For
He's still getting millions.
The Chinese Democracy album, it kind of delayed it. So that in the end, it spent tens of millions on the pre-production of the album, and of course, when it come out, it was
It's like
it didn't
Burner.
cover all their costs. I don't
No,
think you
wouldn't,
know.
would it? You know what I mean?
A bit like the new Snow White.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Snow shite. That's what I heard. Fucking hey. No disrespect to any of the Disney people, you know what I mean? But it's
Snow Shite,
you can't change a good thing.
Have
If
you
it
watched?
ain't
Have
broke,
you
don't
watched
fix
it?
it.
Have you watched the new Snow
I-
Of
White?
course not. That's
no,
why I can judge it. I don't need to see it. I haven't seen the original one.
Like the
must
Brothers
have,
Grimm.
man.
Is that based on the Brothers
Why
Grimm?
would I want? If I'm a kid, why am I going to watch Snow White? No disrespect. I watched The Jungle Book. I watched some of the other ones
You like the
growing up. The
classic?
Rescuers was a big
Oh,
one.
that's a fantastic.
Lady
But I
and the
don't
Tramp.
watch.
You like that one?
Yeah, I don't watch those movies.
Fox and the Hound.
Fox
That
and
was
the Hound.
upsetting.
I remember the Lady and the Tramp. When they
Lady
eat the
and the Tramp.
spaghetti and they get closer and closer.
Yeah.
that's nice.
The Aristocrats.
Very nice.
I saw you do that once when you dated that girl in Australia. Didn't work out for you, did it?
Yeah, because it wasn't spaghetti, it was a penne. It was really like...
So it was quite
Too soon, mate. Too soon.
too quick, too soon.
She got a little penne instead
She had
of
a little. She got a little penne from
instead of the calzone.
Question I had for you about this album. How long did it take from start to finish to get to do the album?
6 months.
Yeah, I'd say 6 months.
We started in June.
Yeah.
Last June 2024.
Yeah.
And we got lots of beats together. We got a lot of ideas together.
That's where it normally starts. Fast will get in the lab and start pulling out sometimes samples, working off samples and then beats. And then he'll lay down some bones of keys and bass, and then he'll ship it up to Leicester. And then I go in my studio, and then we add stuff. We had guitars, and we had little key lines, and we try and get a nice melody and some vocal ideas cracking. So that's how we normally try and build stuff up. That's the way it works. It's normally music first. I remember sitting on a plane going from Brisbane to New Zealand with you, and you said, "Oh yeah, we're sitting next to each other. We'll have a chat." And I said, "I can't. I'm writing this song." Do you remember? Mm-hmm. And I had the phone there, and I was looking out the window, and I just had these lines, and I put these lines in. Well, that was like two years ago. And then the beauty of the only good thing about the iPhone, 'cause it's such a ball and chain for me a lot of the time, is that it's like a walking dictaphone. So especially with lyric ideas, I can get that and I can talk into it. Because you remember I was talking behind. She was like, "What are you doing?" I went, "No, I'm doing the song." And I'm talking away some lyric ideas. And then a year, 18 months later, some of that is on this record. So I really love, a lot of the time when I'm walking the dog, I'll get some lyrical ideas and I'll pull the phone out and da-da-da. So it's like the only thing I like about the iPhone.
You can do it with drum beats though. You can do it with bass lines. You can hum beats into your little voice recorder on your phone.
It used to be a dictaphone before, you know, those little
one.
Yeah, well that's pretty much what your iPhone has got, but better quality, you know. Humming ideas in, humming guitar riffs, humming the we've got a big rock song on this album called It Is What It Is.
Yeah.
And I was walking my dog around Abbey Park and it just come to me. And I just sang it in, and Nye comes in the studio and I say, "Like this, but can you make it sound big?" And he'll listen, and then he'll find the size. Yeah. So the songs can come from being on the tours as well, or walking the dog in the park.
Yes.
I mean, I got the easiest job because Frank, or Fast Frag, will ring me up and say, "Oh no, can you come to the studio tonight? Need you to do guitars on 5 songs." So for me, it'd be like, one big, massive block in one session. Song, I hadn't even heard them before a lot of the time before.
He goes
I heard
home,
the demos, so.
And then he hears them 2 weeks later after me and Fast have been going back and forth, and I'm happy where he's got it, and then he's happy where I've got it, and then he'll do a finishing buff on it, and then you'll hear it.
It's a nice challenge.
He can't even remember what he's written.
It's a nice challenge. Like, at first I was like, can you just give it to me a few days before and I'll figure something out.
It like the 18 takes.
Yeah, because then I'll get 17 guitar solos and 16 of them will be shit.
And,
we don't want that.
And so it's you're on the spot a bit, but I really enjoy it. It's good, as long as in our studio, we got some cool choices though. We got many different guitars I can use, different tuned ones, metal, nylon string ones.
Yeah, he's got
flying V's, semi-acoustics, loads of pedals.
Yeah, God bless Gibson.
Yeah.
UK, because they hooked you up with some nice pieces.
So if the boys have got an idea and they're like, "Oh no, can you make it sound a bit more like this-ish and that?" I go, "Yeah, cool. Just give me that one then, and it's."
But it's sonically, what's the word I'm looking for? It's sonically instinctual, where he, because he hasn't heard stuff, he can come up with a bunch of different ideas. Sends it down to me. Frank and I'll mess around with it. We'll chop stuff up, because I come from like a samplist background. I love samplers when I was a kid, so you could do a lot with the guitar parts he sends by chopping bits up and moving stuff around. And then obviously you don't want to mess with the solo too much, but that's the virtuosity of someone like Naeem.
I can get one song done with 5 guitar parts done in like 2 minutes. Even if the song's 6 minutes, because I know, just play me 8 bars of that. That's all I need, because Fast is going to do his thing with it. So it's very quick, and we like to work quick.
Sometimes I think you like this too, is when there's someone in the studio that isn't in the band. like mates of bands or family of bands, and they're sitting there, and it's the same in rehearsals. I quite enjoy it because
Having
it's
a couple
almost
of people.
like that's up the ante.
Because their
a bit,
energy
you know.
shifts when
But I
something's
al-
feeling good.
Yeah.
I've always had a rule that then people have to be younger than me.
Okay.
No, I do, because they see things from a different perspective. And a lot of my friends are like geezers, like working mechanics or builders or painter and decorators and stuff like that. And if something we're doing connects with them and they're in the corner of the room and they're like, this is the... And you know you're on something good, because if someone like that's getting it, that doesn't really understand all the kind of flows we're trying to do, then we know that the musician side of people that like to listen to music are definitely going to get it. So I do, you're right, I like we have some friends called the Rids that we've had around for years, and if they're in the studio and they tell me something's good,
I like that.
then
You want to
good.
impress them because you're there.
Yeah.
And, you know, Frank, you know, will be behind the desk twiddling the knobs and things. So, you know, when you're doing a live take, it is nice to play to people. If there's no one else there,
it's pretty boring.
it
We do
loses
that,
it.
but then
we do that
sometimes,
too.
but then we do it the other way too, where it's all business.
Whatever.
You know, I know Fast spends hours in his lab.
By myself.
By
No one's
himself.
ever. I don't let anyone come near my
Just
studio.
on a snare drum.
But I can. Well, you know what I mean. I can go through hundreds of
do
different
that.
beats and stuff. I spend a lot of time. I don't watch TV, so I tend to just
more
listen to
creative.
sounds.
And I don't
You know.
have anybody in the studio when writing any kind of lyrics or trying to write melodies. Don't. It's a very personal, private thing. I won't do it a lot of the time in front of Fast, and I won't do it in front of Naeem, because I just want to lose myself. Do you know what I mean?
Makes sense.
Don't want to be judged while you're trying to pull stuff out your brain. Do you know what I mean? Get it down first, and then it can be judged. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
I mean, the one thing I miss, I gotta say, is like the pacing of everything in life these days is so fast.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what it is, everything just comes and goes really quickly. And making music now is similar, where you know Naeem will go in and he'll have a song done in whatever 3 times the length of the song is. Not even 3 minutes. He'll have 9 different parts because he only plays for 8 bars, and then you throw it in a computer and you chop it up, which is easy. And I mean. Back in the days, we'd record on 2-inch tape, and you'd have the drummer would have to play for the whole length of a song. You know what I mean? God forbid you had an 8-9 minute song or something. It took a long time, and overdubs were a pain in the ass. So I do miss that, but it would take us 25 years to release a record. Just because
it took us 15 to get this one together, so we don't want to waste any time.
I mean, Lucky's
know?
got faster, eh?
You see, the other the
way.
funny thing about it is, as well, is because we work like that and we work quick, is that when you've recorded all this stuff and then it goes through all these stages and then it's done, and now we're about to enter the stage where we've got to go back and remember what we played,
So
because
true.
we've got to learn it for live. So it's as if you've got to learn it all over again, which is, that's when it can become a little bit
It's frustrating,
tiresome.
isn't it?
a
I
bit
mean, that's-
frustrating.
And you've heard it, you start hearing it a lot.
Yeah. You imagine how many times me and him have listened to these songs and gone back over mixes for what, 2 months we've been going through the mixing process?
Long time.
So you
But
end up hearing this album 1,000 times. By the time you put it out, I don't want to fucking hear it anymore.
I think it's like that with a lot of art, though. Movies, per se. I think once a director or whatever is done with a movie, the last thing they want to do is watch that movie. You'll never see the cast and stuff actually staying for the premiere of the movie. They'll come walk in, sit down, the movie starts, they leave, you know?
So I asked you about your EP, not the Capistrano one, the Roosevelt. Sounds like you're playing a lot of the stuff, but it sounds like they're samples. But are they samples or are you playing them?
It's both.
Yeah, because you almost like the trumpet. You know that one, the muted one?
Yeah.
It's you on trumpet, isn't it?
Let's say it is, yes.
Okay, sounds sick, man.
Okay, good. It is live.
It is live.
It is live.
Anyway, the production's amazing. It's fantastic.
That's an EP we're very proud of, because I think it even surprised Frank and myself,
It did, definitely.
because it was a cohesive sound, you know, the 4 songs in it, and it was a sound that the band has, you know, messed with here or there over the course of the band's history, but
I loved
Never
it
saw-
because we had a little tiny bit of influence from the artist James Maddock on a song that I suppose was more of a singer-songwriter song, especially for Fun Lovin Criminals to dip our toes in, and we put it on as the last track on a Roosevelt. And that one, the fans.
No, it isn't.
Is it not the last
No,
one?
it's the third one.
Third one, okay.
Village Groove, you talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah. That the fans love that. That's had so many listens, but I was surprised by that one. The track Shake and Bake. No, not Shake and Bake. The track I wrote.
Get your band straight.
Yeah,
Get your band
the
straight.
track
Shake It Loose.
Shake It Loose. You can see why I got that mixed up, Shake. But that's a
All the
phenomenal
tacos.
song. That's to me, that's the closest song to one of my favourite Fun Lovin Criminals songs, which is a song called Confide Yourself. That it's just got that New York pace.
There's a vibe to it.
Yeah.
I wish we maybe in hindsight didn't write the lyrics about that, the subject matter, because it's one it's a song that was cathartic for us to let go of certain things of our past.
Yes.
But now that we've let go of it and fans want to hear that song when we play it live, we're like, yeah, but then we can never let go of the fucking song.
I didn't think that tune was about you, personal thing about you guys that I read about. I thought it was about you telling somebody to just let it.
Yeah, but we just had
that's
to,
good that
we
you think
relive
that.
it. We relive it every time we have to play it, but we don't mind because it's a good vibe, that one.
Fantastic song. Yeah, musically and lyrically, it's great.
So you have jazz, our jazz. You know, when we say jazz, it's like Andre 3000 just put out a piano jazz record. I don't know if anyone heard that.
I saw him with a piano on his back.
Jazz is a very loose term when it comes to what he's doing there, but I love it. I think it's great. But a lot of people were like, what is this shit? I don't care. Andre 3000, you could do whatever you want and I'll listen to it. Your little
get back
flute
to
album
rapping, man.
ain't gonna happen.
Get back to
Ain't gonna
rapping.
happen. But we do our jazz, FLC jazz, and then we do our kind of FLC rock funk stuff on Capistrano. You know, you played on it. This man, saxophone. Point being, is this record, we wanted to, challenge ourselves in the sense of, all right, we've done that. What else do we want to do? So, and we wanted to do some rock stuff, and that's something that with this record, it's like, I like to think that this record is like more of a rock record than anything else. Even some of the songs that people might think are mellower or slower.
It was important to have a bit more pace. The one thing we said going into it, me and Fast as well, we have so much lounge stuff, which I love, and we have a nice mix of hip-hop stuff, which I super love. But then where's that one where crowds can do that too? And, and it's like, let's put some of them on the new record, and we've definitely got them, so it's wicked.
Can't wait to hear that.
We've been getting like big since I've joined anyway. I've noticed that maybe it's not a coincidence, the crowds are getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, especially in Europe.
And it's like when we play the rock songs, you see people going nuts.
Oh, okay.
You don't want it to end.
They like energy. Who doesn't like energy at a show? You don't want to be put to sleep at a show, but we like to take you up and down and kind of go side to side. But it's good to know on a new record that we've got a lot of song, a lot of different pacing that we can play. And, it's the 2 EPs, when we were playing those songs live, it's like I knew, okay, this is interesting. Every song I'm on keyboards. Every song is kind of more a keyboard-based track for me personally. With this album, there's like 3 songs out of 10 that are keyboard tracks. Most of them are bass guitar, drums, other sounds here and there, but just high energy without it necessarily being high tempo or something. Yeah.
Takes us to touring. Because, we've talked a little bit about touring, but I did have some little questions for you.
Can't wait to hear them.
Wow, just trying to read my own writing, you know what I mean?
You wrote it very small. You wrote, let's show him. He's got these big cards, and it's all written really small. But that's fine.
Back of a napkin.
Don't give away his
What kind of
secrets.
production is this?
The magician.
podcast?
He needs a monocle.
Here we go.
All right, here we go.
Here we go. Eyes down, lacking.
All right, rituals.
Okay.
For when you go into hotel rooms, you got any kind of rituals that you do, like
Cult sacrifices, things like that.
that kind of thing?
Those
Are
kind
you
of
allowed to do that
rituals.
still in this day and age?
Not really. No, you riot, you buy it. That was what they
My
used to
ritual
always
has
say.
always been straight in, straight to the air conditioning. I have my room ice cold.
Well, we usually call in advance to just say what room is Mr. whatever his code name is. Insert Frank's code name here. There's many different code names. You gotta have code names.
Heard
This
about
is
your
my
code
last
names.
Armitage Shanks.
You gotta have code names.
Yeah,
Everyone's
absolutely.
got code names. Sylvester Stallone, bit of an obvious one. It's more obvious than Frank Bambini, but we usually
After
call in advance and we say, make sure this room is as cold as possible. I like air, so I prefer a hotel room that has like windows that open and stuff. Rituals. I mean, I don't.
I've started to really use all the facilities in the room.
Yeah.
Like when I
What
first,
facilities are in a room
there's
apart
two
from
beds
the
in a
room?
there's more than you
Tell us, man,
think.
tell us.
You know, there's little cupboards you open up. Oh, there's a nightgown in there.
A nightgown, a
that on.
negligee. He throws on his
Obviously,
negligee.
with the premier room, sometimes these guys don't get the top
'cause
rooms.
you get
But
the
if they
top
find out that I've got the
Yeah,
premier
that
room,
shouldn't
then
happen.
that changes.
That's not
But if they
supposed to
don't know-
happen. And that always happens. We have an unwritten rule where no one's allowed to have a higher floor in the hotel than Frank and myself. And it's just, we seem to be getting jerked left and right with that. But
I think you're ringing ahead.
that's going to change.
man.
That's
you
going
know,
to change
I'll
soon.
when I first was touring with the band, I'd just think, well, we're only here for one night, just leave everything in the suitcase, right? But now it's like, no, use all the cupboards, you get the coat hangers out.
He irons everything.
Make
He's a
it nice,
master
get the iron
ironer.
out.
Yeah,
Why
he's a
not,
good iron.
And then you got a nice shower, you put the bath salts in the bath. You kind of, you
you're
like
living it.
proper live a week
We just
in
wanna
one
go-
night.
One night.
Yeah.
That's his
I,
ritual.
I never unpack my stuff. You know, we had a tech out with us for the past few years who was not from a musical background as far as being a roadie, but he was the single-handed greatest roadie / tech I've ever had in my life. You know, no disrespect to some of the other good ones, total disrespect to all the shit ones I've had, but he's next level, but he'd never really been on tour before. So I'd go to his room, we'd check in, I'd go to his room, you know, and I'd say, I'd come in, I'd go, bro, your do not disturb isn't on the door. What's the matter with you? You got to put your do not disturb on. So I went through, like, for him, the setup of what you should do in a hotel room.
Okay.
First being, make sure you get your do not disturb on the door as soon as you get in
Reason
there.
being?
You just don't want to be disturbed in your room, or just leave your door open then. If you
Makes
know?
sense, doesn't it?
You do not disturb is there for a reason, but then get your lighting right. You always go in, there's that one, like this fucking light
right,
here,
yeah.
which is great for this, but it's like, that's the last thing
Yeah,
you
you
want
want vibes,
following you around.
yeah,
So you
yeah.
got to get your lighting set. You got to get your toiletries laid out perfectly.
That's a big one.
Bluetooth speaker, get that ready.
Get
to
your
roll,
sounds
get your
ready.
Sounds on.
Get that cable so you
Yeah.
can plug your technology into your TV if that's what you want to do. Open your window a little bit.
You got to untighten the bed sheets because sometimes the bed sheets
that.
are like
when
brutally
they
like
tuck them in at the end,
the
I
thing,
hate
so
that's a pet hate.
you don't want that to surprise you when you get into bed and I can't move. So you make that nice straight off.
So you get in
we've done
there,
that.
you do all those things, you unpack your bag, you call up Naeem, you say, bro, I really need you to iron this if you don't mind, which he doesn't mind doing. He's like a master ironer.
I love it.
I'm telling you, that's the
gives me-
thing.
It's
He's
nice
really
to have
good
a
at it.
purpose.
He's really good at
It's nice to
that.
have a purpose in life, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
if you get
Yeah.
that in a hotel room or when you're not doing the gig,
Yeah.
it focuses the
Relaxation.
mind.
See, as the years have gone on, I love my room. Like, I like to spend as much time as possible because when I'm at home, it's walking the dog, it's mowing the grass, it's doing all that stuff, and
No real job, mind you.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's a very tough life.
it's tough.
Very tough
And
life
then
walking your dog, mowing your lawn,
Yeah.
and sitting on your couch for 10 hours a
But
day.
then I do months where I'm in the studio every day, and that does my head in. So when I get on tour, it's like, right, now I can really dig into my Netflix shows. I like to lie there, get on the room service. You know what I mean? So that's my ritual is air conditioning, room service, Netflix on through my Bluetooth. So I feel like I'm in the cinema.
But you two keep the rooms nice, don't you? Like
I keep my
if you
room
got
nice.
if you got the do not disturb one, then you're not going to get your room cleaned,
No.
right? So you've got to be responsible.
I'm
for
tidy.
that.
You're there one fucking night. You don't need to have, you know, how many towels do you need? How often do you change your towels at
Well,
home?
what if you're there for 2 nights or 3 nights?
You keep that towel.
If I'm there for, if you're there for
I
3
understand,
nights,
yeah.
then we're not making money on tour. See, that's one of the things we learn on tour. You don't go anywhere for 3 nights. You go
No,
half
you're
a
losing
day,
money.
do a show, get out of there.
Yeah, true. True.
But I mean, and room service can be great. I mean, you know, again, back to my tech who deserted me.
What your favorite tech?
It's just was
greatest.
he was a great tech, but he was also a good friend.
Yeah.
And he's still here on this plane of existence. He doesn't tour no more, which is cool. But him and I used to go do other things because we basically didn't want him to sit in our hotel rooms. I mean, he did
Right.
because he never really had lived that life of like, what do I got to do the next 4 hours? You can just sit in your hotel room. Really? But then we'd see him in the gym we'd see him like doing Pilates classes. Like it showed us how jaded we are, or musicians that tour a lot can be, because it's like you just want to go to your room, you want to put on Netflix. But like for someone like that, he's taking full advantage.
So you were going out with him when you had a sparring partner to go out with, and just
it helped.
Like, let's go and check this out.
These two are like these are the two butt buddies here together. So I mean, you know, it's like I have my butt, but I don't got him no more.
He socially likes to, you know,
we would go have a little blaze, you know,
so
take
did
him.
his tech. So they had that in common.
So you'd arrive to the hotel.
You can't do that in a room, can you? So it got us out into
it's a company thing as well.
And it's
what company? Yeah.
And it was something that we would enjoy.
That's all cool. I mean, we used to, but now we don't no more. So we've not got that social thing in common.
No.
What we like to do to relax is hit the films up, get on the phone, call back home, check on the dog, rah, you know what I mean?
What about...
Different strokes for different folks,
exactly.
you know?
Yeah. I was going to ask about your hunting for weed when you arrive in places, so...
Most, you know, back in the 90s, it was hard.
It was a mission, wasn't it?
It wasn't easy. And so we tended to only go back to places where it was easy, which kind of did not help us, because then we weren't playing for people, you know? We weren't
playing for the weed.
We were playing to where we could get weed, you know, and because that was an important day in, day out. Moment you wake up, you're smoking. Moment you go to bed, you're still smoking, and you're just always smoking. That kind of, you kind of lose track of your existence when you do that. You know, to each their own. But
I mean, to be fair though, the Fun Lovin Criminals are notorious over the years where we could pretty much get it in everywhere we go, you know. And now it's a lot easier because in a lot of countries it's legal now. It's crazy when we went back to the States. You're just walking through the streets of New York, and the whole of New York City just stinks of weed now.
Everywhere
it's all relaxed law. You know?
East Coast, West Coast is...
West Coast as well. I mean,
East Coast
it's pretty much anywhere you go. And I mean...
Apart from Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
No.
What happened in Abu Dhabi?
You just don't. You respect the different cultures of places you go, and in certain places you don't want to mess around with that stuff.
That's too soon.
Too soon.
Yeah, it only happened last weekend.
Okay.
The excesses are for when you're learning, when you're young.
Yes.
If you carry them on in your older days, you're not going to have any stamina. Again, your tour is not going to go well, and you're going to end up burning out quite easily. And we're lucky as a band because we kind of cut it off. For the sake of this interview, we cut it off with the weed and the drinking. That was kind of, we didn't say, all right, let's go freebase, let's go score some crack, let's go down to Skid Row and see what we can do. You know, we liked smoking, we liked drinking, and we do it, we just don't do it as much because we're out there to play music. We're out there to play music for people.
Grafting, and it gets harder as you get older.
Yes.
3, 4, 5 shows a week. You need to have your time away. So again, I like it too. Hotels are great.
We've got a little thing at the minute. I mean, you go through phases of different routines or things you like to do. Yeah. So, you know, Fastnut likes what he likes. Me and Frank will sometimes explore the streets around the hotel. Maybe there's like a little shop, and then we'll make a picnic from the stuff we find in the shop, but it's
back to the room.
It's a hotel picnic.
It's a hotel picnic.
Yeah. Naeem's an eater. He likes eating food. He likes enjoying the culinary,
delights.
Of the world.
And he always seems to turn up just when me and you were going to pay for something.
That's an interesting observation. Yeah.
And he gets all his food for free.
Well, here's a perfect example. Before this started recording with all these lovely people, you know, such a big production. It's great. All these great people here. Ash thought it'd be a good idea. I don't know if it was you, but someone thought, let's feed everyone first because food is essential. It's an important part. You know, you got to have gas in the car. And Naeem will always be there when that food shows up. He won't be there before it does. And so then the food shows up, it's all good. And this is what he does, which is great. But I love it about you. It's a beautiful thing. I'm not trying to, piss all over you here. But what it is, like, after he's eaten, and there's other people like it, not just him. I can do it sometimes too, especially if I'm blazing. But after he's eaten, then there was like a whole nother section right over there. Stuff. What did you call it? All the
hummus and
the hummus, and then there was the chicken, and then there was these little halloumi tacos. And he came up. I said, "Oh, what are these?" And I said, is that halloumi in there? And you said, yeah, I think it is. And so I started eating one, and he's like, how is it? Is it good? And I'm like, you know exactly how it fucking tastes. It's halloumi and a freaking taco.
So he's always in the right place at the right time.
He's at wherever the food is. Yeah. So he's good. He's like a dog. He's like a canine that plays guitar.
Food.
You like good food?
I like good food, but you know, these little shops we find, it's got the local produce in. So you might have like pickled eggs or weird gherkins or
He'll get a Bulgarian head of lettuce and just bring it back to his room so he can snack on it later.
Yeah,
whilst ironing.
I mean, Fast is very particular about what he eats. He doesn't like lamb. Can't eat lamb, can you? So
that's about it, though.
That's a big cut off for if you're in Greece, right? But
eggplant. I'm not a big fan of eggplant.
You used
eggplant
to be
palm,
just mad traditional. I like what I like. Now I think your palate has expanded.
Is that what you think?
It's expanded somewhat, you know.
It's been hanging around with.
Well, your fucking palate is like every color in the spectrum. If you could
breakfast makes no fucking sense when you put your breakfast together. You got evening food with. Yeah, it's crazy.
Like
honest,
hotels,
he has
in the mornings.
He has a 4-course breakfast. That's the thing. Who has appetizers at breakfast? You have your breakfast, don't you? He has a starter. He has his like middle. All right, let's turn the camera on this guy for a second. And look, he weighs like 70 pounds, so it's like, what are you eating?
But I haven't been on tour for a while, so I stopped eating it.
That's what happens. That's what happens. I got a tapeworm too. It's a good though. It's like good to have a friend.
We need to try a tapeworm.
You know what I mean? Because I can eat, I can put it back.
Oh, you can.
I mean, some of the hotels, especially like around Europe, beautiful breakfast selection. International cuisine.
Yes.
You know?
So you might as well try it all.
You've
You're
got
not going to get
different juices,
bits.
fresh, different melon juice. You know, why wouldn't you want to try that?
Paying it because it's free.
You're talking about Abu Dhabi. You're not talking about the Premier Inn all over
Premier
England
Inn
with that
it's
slop.
just like an egg
They give you
slop.
no disrespect to the Premier Inn group. It's very nice that they provide for such a cheap price, but you get what you pay for.
Yeah, for
You
real.
go to Abu Dhabi in any basic hotel, you're going to get the watermelon juice, the guava juice, the water juice. You're going to get every juice there is.
That breakfast don't do it for me. I'd rather get some extra sleep. And
Yeah,
then
Frank's not a
on the way.
breakfast guy. He's not a breakfast
Frank won't
guy.
get up. He'll want a call, though, if the breakfast is good.
True.
You know, so he'll expect a call. Fast will come down and take literally half a second, and then he'll make a decision. Yeah, this is going to be crap. Grabs a coffee, and that's
It's
it.
usually a
Orange juice.
coffee, maybe a bit of
Just
He'll know, but I'll always
experience,
give it a
isn't
try.
Yeah.
He'll eat everything on the fucking thing.
Damn.
Right, talking about trying to get something for free, which is food, I wanted to ask you about the business of touring, which is quite interesting for me and for other people. Like, how would you deal with budgeting, ticket sales, the cuts of the ticket sales, the cost of the circuit? Like, how would you put all the budget together? What overheads can you to take into account?
One of the things we learned was don't need a tour manager. You know, I think Prince was the one who we learned a lot from the artist Prince. You know, bless him. That all you really need is a good lawyer. You know, he's been in the business a long time. He knows what he's doing. Just get a good lawyer. So we're very similar. You know, a tour manager is going to make decisions that you're going to get upset with, and then you're going to blame it on them, and you're actually paying that person to make those mistakes. They'll get some things right. For us, we've done it a long time now, so we know what we need to budget in. We know the most we can afford to pay people, and we hook our crews up and stuff because bands go on tour. They don't even get to know their crews a lot of the times.
Right.
It's all one big family.
I've noticed
So
that, you guys,
when we go out to get a meal, every time we start a tour, anytime we go anywhere, Naeem's definitely there. We're treating meals and stuff, and we go all in. We're not just letting them have a little bit.
Rehearsals, we look after them.
Because you got to do it. I mean, food is obviously, we're back to food again, but
they are
that's how
being
important
watched.
it is.
They're being watched. They're being judged.
Who is?
The crew at all times.
We trust that everyone knows what they're doing, you know, and everyone does. And we've done, like I said, we've done it long enough, so we know how to make things work. And it means that, you know, we have to make sacrifices, because if you want to go play in Eastern Europe, you want to go play in Oxford.
Okay.
When you live around London or Leicester, you're driving an hour and a half. You're back home.
Right.
You know what I mean? You can leave after the dog walk at 2 p.m. You're there for sound check. But if you want to go play in Eastern Europe, and there's a lot of people in the world, and they want to hear music. They want to hear different kinds of music. So you want to go play there, you got to fly in, hire a car. You got to drive the car yourself. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, is we learned it through through mistakes where we had other people driving us. They were shitty drivers. This dude right here is like the single-handed greatest driver after Burt Reynolds and Stroker Ace. He's just like the greatest driver, taking stunt courses. His resume of driving He's a next level driver. So why have some shitty guy getting paid to drive? You know? And it's never a woman. I will say that. It's never a woman. We've never had a shitty woman drive.
Really good.
Yeah, we've never had a shitty woman drive. So guys are shitty drivers when it comes to touring. Let's get off that.
I mean,
but
he's not a good passenger, though, are you?
he doesn't need to be, though, when you're a boss.
Like, you go in the front, they bring the window up, the window down.
Well, when you're in the front, you're the boss.
When you're driving, you're the boss, and when you're in the passenger seat, you're the second boss, isn't it?
Well, navigator, yeah, it's very important. You got to have a co-pilot, but, you know, if you're in the back where this guy is, he got the windows closed. He's asleep anyway. He got his headphones on.
He's asleep.
He's asleep. So, but driving yourself, you know what I mean? Having your crew, instead of hiring backline everywhere you go. I mean, there's thousands of things. There's so many variables with touring.
So you
know?
guys, a lot of the time when you tour, you take all your backline.
Not all the time. There'll be certain territories where that's not possible. It costs us a fortune.
Okay.
And it's like it's what Fast is right in saying is that we've done it for a long time, and what really helps is when you do it. And you've had to do it for your smaller bands where you don't get any of them kind of hookups with maybe throwing your gear on the back of the headliner's truck and it gets drive around for you. But a lot of the time in your smaller bands, you're packing the back of your car and you're doing it on a real shoestring budget.
You know, real.
Yeah, and we've all done that. You know, going back to our early bands. And so we've had a lot of experience. If you count the years up, you're talking over like 3 decades of doing this. So then when it gets to this, I think the first point is to get a good crew, or at least get someone you trust. And then the budgeting is heavy. That falls a lot with Fast, booking flights. Well, I mean, we literally do everything. Because like you say, we've had so many people over the years do it for us and they fuck it up every time, or they cost me and him a lot of money. So it's like, well, look, he'll have his eyes on that. I'll have my eyes on the crew.
Okay.
And then we pretty much do everything.
All right.
Everything.
So you divide your...
Well, when you book a flight, it's simple. And if you got 7 people out with you, you know, we got 3 band, we got 3 crew guys, we got a merch guy. It's like, you got to book 7 flights. Sometimes it's like, where do they all want to sit? Now, a lot of tour managers, they'll ask like the 3 band members, where do you guys want to sit? They'll say, fuck off to the rest of the guys. I'm not going to do that. See, that ain't right for us. It's like, so apart from the drum tech, who we put in the way back near the bathrooms, everyone's got to get like a really good seat on the plane. I remember Abu Dhabi. We flew to Abu Dhabi a few weeks ago. The guy who booked it, great guy. We love him. And shout out to Steve Hallam. Yeah. Didn't book a seat assignments. So when I went to check everyone in, not a tour manager, you know, and no disrespect to tour managers. If we could afford one, we'd have one, because the last thing him and I want to do is that. But I personally don't want to sit in a hotel room for 3-4 hours just overthinking that stuff. I'm already overthinking life anyway. So, but like that tour manager will book, he'll book the flights, he'll book, you know, scum people. We want everyone to be either scum together or not scum. So, but that's just one of those, like, you flights, you have 10,000 variables. You know, how's everyone getting to the airport? It's a lot of stuff with the touring.
So I was going to ask your best and worst tour managers, or experience, your best experience with tour manager, or worst experience with tour manager.
We had one nearly killed us, driving 80 miles an hour in the middle of the night in some back road in Holland, and then didn't see a speed bump. So you see those videos on TikTok lately, or any of those things where it's like 10 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour, car, and it goes flying up over. It was one of those.
And he was a tour manager as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was not a good tour manager.
He wasn't a bad tour. We don't want to badmouth anybody. He will not tour manage us again.
He did the accounts quick. I'll give him that. But he failed to tour manage the band. He was more a babysitter for, you know, a lead vocalist, which is not what we needed.
Well,
and that happens, yeah.
But that happens with LVS. You know, Dr. Keith Richards, like I was talking about it the other day with a friend of ours, that, you know, it's well documented that LVS can take over a tour and can fuck it up for everyone. The crowd, lead vocalist syndrome.
Oh, yeah, lead vocalist syndrome. Okay.
And he's written about it. He's studied it for years. Obviously, being in a band with Mick Jagger.
Okay.
So it's something, and it's something to beware of. Be careful of. So tour managers in a lot of bands, they're gonna do that. You know, they're gonna kind of cater to the one who is kind of left of center, and
The one who
oftentimes
shouts
that's
the most.
the
One who has
singer,
the tantrums.
the one who can't handle their
Themselves.
whatever it is, the egos, the arrogance, whatever it is.
And we had another tour manager who was phenomenal, but was totally into his Class A's. So sometimes he'd just lose the plot. So
Yeah,
that's
but I
it,
love him, but wouldn't want to work with him. I love him, and he wouldn't want to work with us. When you go from working with a band like us and then go work for big bands and you're touring around dealing with those stresses and you come home with the same feeling, but one band has paid you 10 grand a week and another band's paid you $1,000 a week, it makes you, you're happier getting a little bit more in those pockets, but...
Word. So you tour manage yourselves, eh?
Yeah.
Very okay. Remember that, guys. If you want it done properly, do it yourself.
We wouldn't recommend tour managing yourself because you lose your fucking
The
mind.
thing
But
is
at the
now
same
you
time,
guys,
it's
you
better.
can't go back to having a tour
We
manager
could
'cause
so
you like it,
easily
you
go
have
back.
We
You
could go
like
back,
it
but
how
they'd
you
have
like
to
it,
they'd have to
but-
come to the Fast and Frank night school that we do over a course of a few weeks just to school him on what we don't like.
There'd be a seminar.
It takes a lot of time doing that, and then
Done
you
it
might not even
just.
understand it.
Well, there's a
Exactly.
dossier you
They
have
might
to
not
write up,
understand
so
it.
you
But
have to have.
I mean, in Australia, we had a tour manager step in for a
He
little
weren't
bit.
a tour manager.
Well, he was a tour manager / sound engineer. I thought he was
Truth, he was
I thought
fucking
a
useless,
great,
mate.
He was a great.
He was
sound
not
engineer. I
useless.
think that. But
Tim was a great guy, considering he
Fast,
never met us, and then we come in there thinking we, are running shit. Australia, they do it differently.
Bro,
You
told him
They
told
go-
him for 2 weeks to get you some weed, and when we landed, he told you he got it, and he turned up empty-handed. You wanted to fire him immediately.
I was not happy about
He had
that.
the weed clucks.
I was not happy about that. But then once we realized he was carrying medical on him, his little medical supply, we pillaged that day in and day out from him. So those things happen. He knew. But that's an Australian
He knows
thing.
what's up.
He knew.
That's down
well,
under, mate.
he'll never work with us either again. See, that's the thing is we don't have tour managers because none will work with us.
None will work.
That's the truth
See,
here. Let's lay out
They
the
can't
truth
go
in
back
this.
now.
Can't go back.
But we don't have
Proper dad.
but we don't have a lighting guy because let's be honest, it's like we pull into some of these towns, Eastern Europe, Oxford, go back to that, Spain, wherever, and you get bands that come in and any size band, they bring the lighting guy, then the other guy becomes a slave for a day. The house guy, who those are his lights he messes with all the time, he becomes the slave to the LD for the band for the day. You know what I mean? And that could be fun, but no one likes being just told what to do in their house. So for us, we love it because we like to get to know who the LD is.
and then he can have fun with it.
right.
We go in, do you know this band? No. All right, cool. Well, you're going to have fun. Just no greens. Don't put any greens on us.
Yeah.
But if you come in and someone knows the band, then you let them do their job. So
Give
it's
them a
like,
little cheat sheet sometimes, this is a big one, go chaotic, this is a lounge song. make
don't
it
fuck
low
up.
rate, Yeah.
You know
Don't
what I
fuck up
mean?
or we'll
No
kill you,
green.
yeah. No green.
No one looks good in green.
Like a zombie in green, isn't it?
You just
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah,
have
we
that
look-
sick look.
Yeah.
Yeah, drawn out.
Like we have
All right,
here in
keep
the
it nice, bro.
8K definition here and shit.
no greens here.
No,
no greens here,
that's
bro.
nice.
Right, you touched about writing when you were writing a tune on the plane,
Yeah.
or a song on the plane. Do you guys ever write when you're on the road, or is it just too intense?
Wait, if you're talking about having samplers and stuff in the back of trucks and stuff like that, no. But I think we're very much a band that gets infected by life, and obviously you experience a lot of life when you're on the road. So pretty much the whole of Capistrano was in some form written on the road, even though we probably didn't realize it at the time. So then when we went to write it, for me, as far as some lyrics, there was a day that we went from San Francisco right down to LA to play a show, and we decided to drive, and Fast said, let's take this coastal route. It's amazing.
Big Bear, right?
Is that what it's called? No,
Sir.
the Big Sur.
Route 1.
yes.
Yeah, Route 1's a big.
Which was so beautiful. And look, we did that, and then pretty much that song come from that. But I wasn't writing it right there and then. It was the experience.
Yes.
And I suppose with Fast, because we were in a sun-drenched place, that when he went into his lab, your spirits were uplifted. So that there's a big change from Roosevelt to Capistrano, and that come from touring the States. So even I think, even if you're not conscious that you're writing, your subconscious is writing all the time with a band like this. you know, and so you are writing while you're on the road. But are we physically in a tour bus with a mini studio in the back? No. Even though we've been on tour before and we have set a studio up in hotels and that, but
we're always collecting sounds. So
Yeah.
one of the things I do, because again, I'm not much of a person who watch TV and stuff, but like I'll be on websites and stuff and find sound effects or find little bits and pieces from audio, and I can put it in a little folder that I'll probably forget about to later have, you know, pick from when we're writing down ideas. I mean, the thing for us is like we have two hats. We have like our studio hat and then our performance hat. So if like we're writing an album, that's in the lab, that's, you know, doing that side of things. When we're playing shows, if anything, any extra time we have, we're thinking of like, why don't we try and play that old song we've never played before? And that's something that's important lately for us in the past few years. We have a lot of other songs that aren't your Scooby Snacks or your Love Unlimited, you know, songs that people might know, whether you're a fan or not of the band. But there's loads of deep cuts that we think live people love and love a lot more, you know? And so
you're always thinking about other stuff on the road.
Now we're getting into tour stories.
I
have heard some stories.
I'm sure you have.
You guys.
Well, shall I kick it off? I've got some great ones.
Yeah, tell a tour story.
The tour, here's one for you. We ended up in Australia, in Brisbane, playing a show, and then our tour manager comes in, and Jackass guys are staying at your hotel, and they found out you're playing. They want to come and check you out and put them on the guest list. Oh yeah, put them on the guest list. So they come, and they're just like they are in the film, all fucking stupid. Do you know what I mean? Like crazy, wanting to do stuff. And my room was at the side of the character called Steve-O. I don't know if you remember him. He had a tattoo of himself tattooed on his own back. What a knob. But funny guy. But he comes to the show, and anyway, I get back, and I'm the drummer, so I'm exhausted. And I just want to chill, have a shower, lay on the bed, put the Netflix on, whatever. And on the door. I'm like, who is it? Fast. I'm going to bed. You're always saying fast. I'm like, who the fuck's at my door? So I walk up, I open the door, and it's Steve-O, and he's there giggling his ass off. He says, come here, I've got to show you something, come here. So I go round to the room next door, and he opens his door, and I'm not kidding you, the whole door frame was white foam, started extracting out of his room, started coming into the hallway. He went, this shit's great, man. I'm looking at him like, you fucking fruitcake, like, he woke me up to show me this. And he goes, help me. So he opens the lift, and he's kind of wafting all the foam into the lift. And he says, get in the lift with me. This is going to be great. Get in the lift with me. Oh, all right, let's entertain this. So I get in the lift with him, and I can't see him. And we're in this foam, and the door opens. While we've been in the foam, the dickhead's stripped naked. I couldn't see him do it. And the doors opened just as like, this massive Japanese family was checking into the hotel, and the foam spilled into the lobby, and he's ran out singing like bollock naked. And I'm just stood there like, and all these Japanese taking pictures, and he's turning around going, fucking great, this is great. I'm like, you are mental. I just stepped back in the lift and went up in the lift. That was one crazy night. But yeah, we were in Ireland a week later, and the tour man, the Jackass come. We just went, no, absolutely not. Don't put them on the guest list. They're all fucking mad, them lot.
Well, I got a kind of silly one. When we were, but way back in the days, we had a sort of Louis Armstrong cover called "We Have All the Time in the World." It was in a James Bond movie. We covered that, and for some reason they released it as a single in Italy, and it was like it did really well. So they invited us to go perform right in front of the Coliseum for some big Italian celebration of Italy and being Italian. So we show up at this thing. There's like millions of people at this thing. That whole street. I mean, it's just as far. It was nuts, the amount of people there. But what they didn't tell us, which we didn't know, was that the song we were performing, we have all time in the world. We assumed we were going to go up and play it, like perform the song. So we go up when it's our turn. We were one of the first on with all these great Italian acts, and we get up there, and all of a sudden the song just starts playing. And they failed to mention to us in that awesome Italian way that you're lip syncing the song, but they didn't tell us that until the song actually started playing. So we're sitting there having no clue what to do except just go along with it. Meanwhile, we're on these big screens. There's millions of people watching us. It was fucking embarrassing because we don't like lip syncing. We've never done it. But for that one, they got us to do it because they just started the song.
Without even telling you, yeah.
No, because there was no sound check for something like that. The
Very
crew
rushed thing for you guys, wasn't it? I mean,
it was.
There's so many stories I could tell you loads, and there's loads that we can't tell you.
There's a lot of dark ones.
There's a lot of ones that that's not good, but there's some fantastic ones. Being offered a day out by a promoter, and me and Naim went down and found ourselves on a catamaran with a boat full of models sailing around Dubai with some sultan of Brunei or whatever he was, and it was amazing, wasn't it? And you turned to me, didn't you, and said, "I love you, bro." Because we were just there. We were doing the thing from Titanic with these models. Where it was just fantastic day.
I've heard some stories.
You've got loads of stories yourself. I know you do.
This is not about me, this podcast, guys.
We'll do one for him next time.
I mean, we did one of my early shows with the band. I always get the kind of guys, the geeky guitar folk that will stand and watch you play and have their arms folded and you
guitar in.
Yeah, so I had this old couple stood there, and after the show we went out, go to the merch stand, take some pictures, interact with people. I actually like doing that. And then this couple came up, tried to get a ticket for your next show. Where you playing? You're playing. I can't remember where it was. Somewhere in Holland. And I was so kind of on a buzz after the gig. I went, "Oh man, that's a shame. Maybe I'll get you in, right?" And so I get their details and everything. I'm trying to be nice. Watch out, backfires. And then the next week comes along, and we get in the gig, do the sound check. I give my guest list in, and then Frank and Fast specifically said, "I don't know why you did it that night, but it's like, right, we're having no guests tonight. We want no guests whatsoever." Something had gone wrong. Maybe you didn't want any guests at that show for some reason or another.
Right.
And the PR from the venue comes over like 10 minutes before the gig. "Oh, we've got this couple outside. They swear you promised them they'll get in the show, but you've also said no guest list, so they're outside." And they're going a bit crazy. And then Fast goes to me, "You didn't invite anyone, did you, Naim?" And I'm like, "No." Oh. Right. And then it gets worse and worse.
So that's you
This
being
PR,
a jerk off, not us.
Yeah, it's me. It's me being too nice, is what it is.
Nice on both sides.
This PR comes back, and then they insist that someone in the band has put them on the list, and they've travelled hundreds of miles to get to the show. And they come back, and I'm like, "Yeah, boys,
It was me.
it was me. Can you let them in, But never again.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
That's exactly right.
Paved with six strings.
Pet peeves.
Okay.
What could you do without on tour? What could you not live without on tour?
That's a good question.
Couldn't live without electricity on tour because that's a big one. If you want to do a show, I mean, I bring all the things I need on tour. I could do without the traveling because that's the work.
Yeah.
We don't get paid for the show. We get paid to put up with
Yes.
all the bullshit of traveling and all that, which sometimes is great. But long drives every day, especially in America, it can be ruthless after a while.
Pet peeves for me is people that go to airports and then all of a sudden it's as if they've never traveled before and you get stuck behind them.
Day
and
one.
they just, it's like, come on, man. Take your toiletries out the back. Put your fucking print
through
in
security.
there. You know what I mean? It's like, get out of my way. You know what I mean? It's like, have you never done this before? And they do it every year. You know what I mean? They go on holiday.
They do it once a year.
They do it once a year. But I mean, come on.
You do it 97 times
100
a season.
times a season, and
So
it's-
you're used to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, That's a pet peeve.
Frank and I going to have a nice meal, just the two of us, talk shop, and in walks fucking Naeem the moment the fucking
Eats all
food
your
comes on the
food.
table. Oh, hey, guys. You know, we're fucking the furthest part of
what
Bruges,
happened,
Belgium.
guys?
No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, we're only playing.
We're ball breakers because it's
Yeah.
important, because you don't want anyone getting all upset.
Too serious.
So it's,
I mean,
you got to
Frank's,
bust everyone's balls.
Frank's got, and Fast is witness to this many times, Frank's got this, it's almost like a superhuman ability at the airport. Like, there'll be a queue that's half a mile long through customs.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Have you seen it, man? He's a smooth operator.
You get
know?
right through security
Frank
and the
will just
crew
walk
diplomat
up
line.
And he'll walk up past the security and no one notices him. And he just gets straight to the front of the line at customs. So I start thinking, what if I stood next to him and see if it could work with me going?
Yeah.
And it's pretty uncanny. Like, we walked through, I can't remember, coming back from Australia, there was like 1,000 Chinese people in the queue, all trying to get back to China for after the Chinese New Year. Craziness, checking everyone's bags. We're running late. I mean, it was pretty astonishing how we did it. But we've got, I don't want to reveal all the secrets, but
Don't reveal the secrets, because then everyone will do it, and then I'll be stuck behind all them people.
Yeah.
But we had a big line in Hawaii just a couple of months ago, and I said, Adriano, put me in that wheelchair and push me through, man, because I'm knackered. My bag weighs a ton. I was tired, and they just opened the gates for us, didn't they? And we went straight through all these checks. Come this way, guys, and just pull them in. Then we got to the end, and we seen a nice cream sign. I just jumped out the chair.
And then the thing is, on the way back, you can swap roles. You could be the guy in the chair.
You could be the guy.
But I learned this from my mum, who actually fell down some stairs.
And didn't have a fucking chair
she
because
didn't
of
have a
someone
chair.
like
No one
Frank.
helped her, and
Real
she busted her
fucking
knee.
nice.
So I thought, right,
Real nice.
know.
Tough life. Tough life for you.
Sorry,
He's got
bro.
the chair.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a master of just slyly opening the ropes. You got the ropes, and they move the ropes about.
It all comes
he'll
from
adjust them, and
growing up on a council estate, man. You just got to get it done. You got to get it done fast.
I mean,
I come from that school.
I get done at the airports because look a bit, might look a bit dodgy to some people. But Frank's got this ability. It's like a chameleon, or
It's not just in airports, though. This guy will drive into the city center of Amsterdam, where you're not supposed to drive cars. He will pull the car up onto
big time,
like a civilian area. You're not even supposed to park a car there, and he'll get out the car, leave it there for 3 hours, go walk around, come back, car's right there, no tickets on it, no police on it, and he's done that in countries around the world.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't understand.
I don't understand it.
touring with Frank is just, it makes life easy.
Unless you're in Abu Dhabi, but we won't talk
And
about
you need
that.
a wheelchair.
Yeah, I don't agree with the wheelchair thing.
Sorry
but
about
that's
that.
Or
fine.
TK
It
Maxx,
got you
of course,
through. It
that's
got
another.
you through.
He was banned from TK Maxx.
For
For a little incident.
But not
why are you
not
bringing that
T-
shit
not
No one knows
TJ
about it.
Maxx.
I don't-
You know, in
TK Maxx is
America.
the British version, yeah.
Yeah.
He's on the
so it's a
wanted
bit
list
different.
at TK
All right,
Maxx.
let's get to the next question, bro.
Let's just, God, tell us about TK Maxx.
No, bro.
It doesn't matter now.
No, it's
They've
all
lifted
good.
him from the
They've
files
lifted
now.
the
He
ban.
was
It's
on the-
okay. It's okay, yeah.
What's the most interesting gift you have received from a fan? Interesting, maybe not interesting, but like the most like, wow.
You know, in Russia, they got those dolls that you open it. and
Yeah,
there's
there's
a
like 10
smaller
dolls
one.
in there, yeah.
Yeah, we got those once from a fan, and they're very cool. They didn't look nothing like us, though. You know,
Oh,
they
they're meant to be.
I've still got mine on my bookshelf.
it's hard for something that like
But all they've
that
got to do with the
shape.
doll is just paint a beard on
got a
that
big
doll.
beard,
Done.
they've got a scar
Done.
in the eyebrow, and it looks like me.
But
you know?
really, what we all look like was the autopilot in the airplane movies. That's what we all look like. Sorry, I'm spitting in 4K, but or 8K. But it was like this. It wasn't. It was a beautiful gift because it was like handmade by this person.
I
So
tell you what, we had a guy made a bespoke Fun Lovin Criminals Monopoly
that's true.
board.
Gary,
It's fantastic. I've got I think there's 3 in the world.
you've got mine.
I've got 2 of them.
I've got
Yeah.
He
Very
basi-
cool.
Yeah, he actually does it with a bunch of different bands, movie stars. He goes to all the conventions. You know, he geeks out like that.
man.
But he really goes to town. And
And are the name of the streets different?
Yeah,
No,
they're all
10th Street.
The 10th
Oh,
Street.
Lansing
Yeah.
Street. So he'll equate them to songs of ours and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
I left mine on the tour bus, so it's been sitting
It's
in
safe.
Leicester
It's
for
never
like
been opened.
10
It's,
years. So
it's like an Uber thing for a fan to buy. We should maybe do a competition and put one of them up for the fans to buy because they'd love it. It's very bespoke and original.
Cool. Anne in Belgium, our friend
Oh, man.
Anne did
Yeah.
a stencil drawing of us that's pretty
Amazing.
incredible. And
We've had
We had pictures of our dogs, hand-drawn pictures of
hand-drawn
each of our
pictures of
dogs,
each of
framed.
our dogs that are beautiful.
that's
Big shout out to
amazing,
Kerry Meadows on that.
Amazing as well.
And what else we've had? Magnums of champagne left for us by you two in dressing rooms and
Animal pelts. So we're lucky. People will leave us things, living, dead. It don't matter.
No, sometimes we'll get nice gifts,
All the
socks and sneakers,
all the
and
merchandise. People give you,
something, don't they?
yeah, shirts, tops, jeans. We've had everything.
Yeah,
Different
everything.
brands.
Chlamydia, gonorrhea, the clap.
We've had everything.
Got it all.
Mamma mia.
I tell you, mate. Right,
Mate.
we're going to end now.
Oh, good.
Yeah. We're going to end with the clap and gonorrhea and good night.
Great.
So,
It's all my mom will see is that part.
That bit.
Of course.
a little bit of advice for people starting up a tour. Apart from don't do it, yeah.
Yeah.
But some just basics like 101. Like what do you think most people might get wrong, and best tip for hitting the road?
Best tip for hitting the road, start off is obviously you've got to get there. So you want to find yourself the most, comprehensive kind of vehicle that you can get. If you're lucky enough where somebody owns a big enough vehicle that they can get the band members in and some gear, fantastic. Because if you're going on a tour, it means you're leaving your hometown. So you've got to be able to get there. So first off is your transport.
Yeah.
That's what you've got to give serious thought to, and how that transport is fueled, and work out how much the fuel's going to cost, to then work out how many tickets you need to sell to cover that. So at least your first and foremost thing is getting there, getting back. Now, if it's a tour that goes on and on and on, you're going to need hotels, you're going to need places to stay, you're going to need a food budget.
The pre-production's so important. So long before your tour, is even booked, you got to sit down, do the numbers, and figure out what you can and can't do.
Yeah.
Anyone, personnel, friends that come on tour, everyone has a job. You know what I mean? You don't want anyone just hanging out, not doing anything. So your driver can also be your merch guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
all those
liquidate it
things.
down,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's all important. Don't bring too much shit. Don't bring a massive suitcase like my tech, bless him, who's no longer teching anymore, prick. But he brought out the first time we were gone for 3 days, brought a 4-month size suitcase with him, and we told him you don't need to do that. You can shrink wrap everything and just put it in a little case. So don't bring more shit than you
But
need.
he would finish the tour with like 3 suitcases, and you're like, well, what
No,
have
he'd
you got
never
in
done
there?
it before, so he was
And
living
it's
it up. He was
full
living
of
it up.
chocolate, wasn't it? Full of all the
Yeah,
stuff he collected on the road.
But I mean, for putting if it's the first time putting a tour together, crunch the numbers before you try and do anything. But first and foremost, make sure you get that vehicle locked down, best price you can. Make sure you take the insurance on out of it, because something always going to happen. Still happens to us to this day.
And you
Shit
still
can
get
go-
charged anyway.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but you
better
won't.
600 and
you
6
guys
grand.
won't compromise with quality. They'll get goods.
Yeah,
They
we try
don't
and
want to
get
get
the
the
best that we can.
cheapest van, the cheapest hotel, because it will
But if
break
it's your-
down.
yeah, but if it's your
Everyone have a
first-
shit experience.
If your
so-
first time doing it,
Yeah, well,
you've got to
sure.
cut all the corners.
Oh, you're
you can
cutting all the
cut. Yeah.
corners.
I'm
There
saying,
are no
yeah.
corners no more.
Okay.
You're staying 2-3 people in a Premier Inn, you know what I mean? And we did that in America, and we haven't ever done that in 20 years, but we were sharing rooms, you know what I mean, with
But-
people. But
For bands, if you're asking for advice for bands that are just about to get signed and about to go on tour, the number one thing is don't have all the niceties, because you won't realize it that you're going to be paying for it. It's all right, a tour manager saying, right, we're going to go here, we're going to go here, I'm going to use these guys because they're my friends, we're going to use this, going to use, you're like, whoa, how much is all this costing? Ask your tour manager, how much is this costing? Because we're going to be paying for it. You're not paying for it. You're talking like it's the best decision for this band. Well, you don't know what we need to walk away with to make this work. So you need to say to that tour manager, no, don't spend money, because you think at the start that it ain't your money.
Even if it's a label giving you the money,
You're gonna know, because you're gonna pay them back. It's could take 20 years, or you may never pay them back. You might always owe them, and then they got you by the balls. So what you want to do is just only spend what you have to spend. And if that means going on tour, if you've got 5 people in a band, you 2 are sharing a room, you 2 are sharing, or all 5 of us are sharing between one room. Keep your money tight.
Don't even worry about a record deal. I mean, that thing's a thing of the past, you know, unless you're the next Dua Lipa or something, don't waste your time, you know. You can find funding somewhere else. You're not going to get millions of dollars, but you want control is the most important thing.
Yeah.
You want to own your music. You want to, you know, own and make the decisions with your touring, and you want to
know where your money's being spent.
You'll sleep better at night knowing that you can't blame anyone but yourself.
I mean, you want to live to fight another day. If you've overblown your budget, you can't literally afford to go out with your band, it's over, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're just starting out, you're not making any money anyway. So but I think you would probably know that. So you just want to go out, do the best show you can, have fun, and look for the joy in it. Otherwise,
get the word out.
Go get a real job, have music as your hobby, and then, you know, it's can be something you enjoy. But
do you think that was helpful, what we said, Adrian?
I think it was very helpful.
Okay.
I think the thing about checking your budget is great, and the you guys touched on also about not again looking after your own money and not trusting somebody else to sort it out for you.
Yeah.
True. And don't invite Naeem on tour because he'll eat all your food.
He'll eat
You'll
your
have no
funds.
He will
food
sound
for
great.
no one.
Makes the band sound good, though, doesn't he? With his guitar playing.
Oh, he's next up. We don't need to shine him on. He knows that.
Shine on,
He knows that.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Ed. You rock.
I'm
bro.
looking forward to hearing your album.
It's really good.
I can't wait. I might try and get a sneak peek, but you know, I
we'll
can still
send
wait
you-
for it. I
we'll
can still wait for
We'll
it.
hook you up.
We'll hook you up August
Or I
29th
could-
when it
yeah,
comes
thanks.
out, bro. No problem. It'll be on Spotify. You'll get the advance thing. No, thanks to everybody here, though. It's way too many
you.
people
Yeah,
putting
it's great.
in work. And from what I heard, you all do this for the fun. Not really. Someone owes you something for this. So
And fish tacos is what you like,
you
right?
got plenty of those and plenty of the hummus and other stuff left over.
Thank
so.
you, Aj.
Thank you,
Big up
guys.
diversion,
Thank you very
yeah.
much. Thank you. If you enjoyed this facet of Between the Takes, you like that word?
That's a
Yeah,
good
it's a
word.
good word.
Great
Make
word.
sure you subscribe. Hit that little button down there.
How about say that again? Look at that camera.
Smash the like.
Hey, fucko. Make sure you press the subscribe button if you want to see more of these podcasts. These motherfuckers work hard and they ain't getting paid shit and they're doing it for you. Otherwise, get the fuck out of here.
Hey music lovers, if you'd like to see more behind the scenes content and equipment we use here at Version, let us know in the comments below. Also, if you've been enjoying our musical performance film and podcast and would like to thank the team here at Version, hit the like and subscribe button. And if you're feeling extra generous, you can always hit the thanks button.